Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. Hi, hello, my name is Loey. Do you guys remember a few months ago when I did a video going down like a couple of TikTok rabbit holes with all of you? I said in that video that it was something I had wanted to stream, but my Wi-Fi had been out for weeks. And so the other night I decided to try this again, but live with all of you guys. And I have to say, this was such a fun experience. Going into these mysteries alongside you and seeing your feedback in real time and your theories and just all of that, it was really so cool. It kind of felt like a community experience, you know? This is gonna be a long one, so get your drink, get your snack, and settle in for these scary TikTok videos. But before we get into it, thank you so much to today's sponsor, Matchmasters, who is really hooking it up today because thanks to them, one of you will be winning all of the cool prizes in the background of this video. I got you all sorts of things that I love. A great camera for making content, my favorite blind box, and here is a REM pod if you want to go ghost hunting, plus some amazing beauty essentials for your self-care night. Before we talk about how you're going to win the giveaway, let me quickly tell you what Matchmasters is. Matchmasters is a match 3 game where you match objects by color or shape and try to score higher than your opponent. And y'all, this isn't like a bot I'm playing against. You play against real people in Matchmasters. So sorry to this guy that I'm taking so long to make my moves, but okay, I gotta tell you guys what it's all about. You can play live with your friends or with people all over the world, or you can try out solo mode. The game is free to download on iOS or Android, and it's super fun. The levels definitely start to get a little bit trickier as you keep going up, but I find myself really enjoying it. So let's talk about this giveaway and how you could be winning all of the prizes that you see in this video. All you have to do is download and play Matchmasters. That's literally it. Download the game using the QR code on screen right now or using the link in my description box down below. Play one game and you will have unlocked the Star Race giveaway. From there, you will have 7 days to earn as many stars as you can by playing Matchmasters. The top players from that will then move on to the finals and play against each other, and from there, one lucky winner will win the Star Race giveaway. I'm so excited about this. It was really cool to kind of go shopping for you guys and pick out things that I thought that you would enjoy. Like all of these little self-care goodies that you can enjoy while you're also ghost hunting and recording it and opening up a blind box for the serotonin of it all. But once again, you guys, make sure to download using my link so that you have the chance to win the Star Race giveaway. Thank you again so much to Matchmasters for sponsoring today's video, and thank all of you for always supporting my channel. It's so cool to be able to do things like this, especially doing like giveaways and stuff. It makes me so happy. And now let's get into the scary videos. There is a girl going super viral on TikTok right now, Golden Rule 5, and she's telling stories about back when she used to make house calls. These videos are like crazy, so I put in 3 I hadn't watched.
I used to do house calls in the hills of the Appalachian Mountains, primarily for people that lived like off the grid. They didn't have telephones, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no GPS. You use a map, you use the compass. And the company that I worked for doesn't exist anymore. I don't work for that company anymore. But all of the stories I have are very interesting. I was en route to a patient's home, and as I said, I have a lot of patients that are off the grid or they live in very rural communities. So I'm driving down a road and I make a hard turn onto like a side street, I suppose you would say. And there's a single car length bridge. This is important. And I go about 5 minutes past that bridge and it takes me to another small road where there's a house. It's the middle of the afternoon, and when I arrive on the property, there's a barn straight ahead at the end of like this drive. And then the house is far set to like the left, and there's like a field in front of the house, right? I don't see any other houses around or anything, but I hear that there's people around because I hear like kids playing. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of nice, you know, it's a beautiful day outside. I heard someone call out to me. They said hello, and I, you know, am still getting stuff out of my car, and I say hello, I'll be there, just, you know, give me 1 second, I'm getting my things out of the car. And then I turn and there's like a car that looks like it's been parked there for a while, and I know this because there's like weeds and brush growing up around it. And there's a gentleman that's walking out from behind the car. Looks like he was tinkering on it or something. He was wearing like denim overalls, no shirt underneath. Nothing particularly interesting about this guy. And so I turned around and started heading to the house, and I don't see anyone, so I'm like, well, they must have said hello and then gone back inside. I don't know, maybe they're getting their medications ready, getting their paperwork ready for us to review it when I get in. I knocked on the door, and the person comes and collects me. And she said, oh, I didn't see that you had arrived. You're a bit early. And I said, oh, am I? Sorry, thought I heard you call out to me. And she said, no. And I was like, okay, fluke, whatever.
Hearing someone call out to you in Appalachia as well. In like the Appalachian Mountains. Wow. Wait, this one's already off to such a good start. Now I'm like, was the guy in the overalls real? I don't want to spoil it yet. My current vote is that the guy in the overalls may not be real. Because the way she was saying, like, there was nothing interesting about him. Like, oh my God, he wasn't transparent. You know what I mean?
So we're doing the visit, and we're almost done with the visit. It's still early afternoon. And I get to asking this person I always ask, who do you live with? And she had said, oh, you know, I live alone and I own like 100 and some acres. And I was like, oh, so like nobody else lives on the property with you? And she says, no. And I said, well, I like thought I heard kids playing outside, and I saw a man like doing something with that car out there. Like, does he work for you? And she looked at me and she said, it's out there. And I was like, the car? Yeah, it's out there. It's at this moment I realized I don't think we're talking about the car. And she goes, you have to go. I'm like, I have to go. I'm like, you know, pardon me, but I'm not quite done yet. And she said, it's going to rain, and if it rains and that pass that you came through, that dirt road gets wet, you won't be able to leave. And I'm like, it's not going to rain. Like, it's a clear sky outside. She says, I'll fix you a sandwich. Things are happening quickly. Like, it's kind of bizarre. We go from having a nice visit, talking to, you need to leave now. And I'm still confused as hell, because she's telling me that she lives on a property where no one else is, and I just literally heard people outside and saw a guy on her property. So like, she's consistently saying like, you have to leave, it's going to rain, you're going to get stuck, you won't be able to leave. Okay. So she hands me a bag. She says there's a sandwich in it. I turn, and it's dark outside. And I don't mean storm cloud dark outside. I mean, it's dark outside. It's the middle of the afternoon. And she hastily, I'd say hastily, walks me to the door from which I have come, opens the door, says goodbye, practically pushes me out and closes the door. I still don't quite understand the sandwich. What do you want me to do? You want me to bargain with Paranormal Patrick out here for my life? Exchange a sandwich for the skin that he wants to take off and wear like a glove?
It's just Southern women hospitality, but no, 100%. Yeah, what does she want him to do? Just start whacking the ghosts out there with a Subway footlong? Like, what are we talking about?
So I do what anybody would do. I pretend that I'm walking out of Target. I am unbothered. I keep a steady pace. I do not stop. I keep my head straight ahead to my car. And I can tell you clear as day, there is somebody walking. There's somebody walking parallel to me. And you could, like, I could feel it. Like, I could feel somebody looking at me. I'm not gonna lie, I dropped the sandwich. I'm like, I don't care. I'm done. It gets quiet. From the point that I'm walking from the fields to my car, it is quiet. No crickets, no frogs, no nothing. But you know what I can hear? The sound of jeans. The sound that denim makes when someone's walking. At this point, I'm like, don't run. Don't run. Don't run. I get to my car, I get back on the road, I start driving. And I'm waiting to see this bridge that I came in on. I'm driving on this road in the dark for like 20 minutes. And there is no main road in sight. And this is the only road that enters this property. Like, that, I couldn't have made a wrong turn. I'm driving down the road. Eventually I get to like this, I wouldn't say brick, it's like this stone underpass bridge thing. I drive under it. It's maybe a little tunnel. I drive under it. It's pitch black on the inside. I get to the other side. It's daytime. And I'm sitting in my car like shaking, trying to make sense of this. I've encountered some strange things on this job, but I can tell you that really felt like being hunted. That was an interesting feeling. And to this day, I still don't understand the sandwich. I don't understand why she was so insistent on making me leave with this sandwich.
Girl, when in doubt, you gotta protect yourself with a footlong. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe she give you a PB&J. Smack it in the killer's face. No, I think the sandwich was like a consolation prize. Like you came out all this way. Like, I'm sure that this woman still got paid. At least I assume so. This is creepy. The whole going dark thing. I mean, it rains in that area. Like there's no freaking tomorrow. I know, you know? But for it to go like pitch black and then maybe you could have blamed it on a storm, but then you go through a tunnel and suddenly it's like light on the other side and there's no sound of it. Ash said the sandwich was a red herring. Maybe the real sandwich was the friends we made along the way. I don't know. But also, what is that thing? Because it wasn't like the woman said, oh, you saw him. She said, oh, it's outside. It. Like, what girl? What was it?
For example, there was one time I was driving to this house. Actually had to drive through a graveyard, up this dirt road to make it to this home on the top of a hill. And I knock on the door and this old lady comes and gets me and we walk into the house and immediately I can tell it's like a hoarding situation, right? Like there is stuff stacked from the floor up to the ceiling. Like you can't even see when you're turning around a corner what's going to be there because the opening is so narrow. And immediately I'm like, okay, fire hazard, this is concerning, we're gonna have to consult social work. Like this is a mess. I don't know how she's living here. We finally make our way down the hallway, and at the end of the hallway there's a sitting area, and there's actually no clutter in the sitting area. There's like a table, there's a love seat, there's a recliner, and then there's like 5 dolls, like my size Barbie height-ish, standing in a half circle around a TV, and the TV is on. And then there are 3 small rocking chairs, children-sized rocking chairs with 3 figures sitting in them. Appeared to be like dolls, right? And I start my assessment, like I'm asking her, when was the last time you saw a provider? Like, you go into town to see a doctor? Is this the only time you see anyone during the year? Like, are you on any medications? And she stops me and she's like, hang on, can you turn the kids around? And I'm like, turn the kids around? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, can you turn them around? And she points to like the dolls. And I was like, no. And she stops me and she goes, you need to turn them around because they like to watch. And I'm like, up until this point, I didn't, like, there was no reason for me to believe this person was not cognitively intact. Like, they didn't seem like, woohoo.
Also, I know that she hasn't like said this, but it definitely seems like she's like in a medical field of some kind. I don't think that she's specified or anything in her other videos. I think she's kept it pretty vague. I think she works in some sort of healthcare field where she's going to like check up on, it seems like probably a lot of like elderly people out in the middle of nowhere who, you know, of course need medical care.
Again, I politely decline. I go on to do my job. I'm looking at her, I'm asking questions. I turn my head. Tell me why one of the doll-like things has now moved. And it's now halfway turned towards me. And I know that it has moved because it was the first thing that I noticed when I walked into the room, how peculiar it was that they were all standing in like a half circle formation looking at the television. They were like dolls. And I had asked her, is anybody else home? Who do you live with? She tells me that she lives with her nephew. Nephew is not home. He is at work. And immediately chills. Like I could feel it at the base of my spine, like moving up. Like hair on the back of my neck standing up. It did not feel right. And so I pivot because I'm doing her blood pressure now and like asking her about some of her medications. So I'm at a different angle and I see that these things sitting in the rocking chairs are doll-esque, like doll type-ish, but they look like little old people. They have like old people faces and they're dressed in baby clothes. And she says, okay, you know, why don't you have a look around the rest of the house? She's like, I'll show you my other sitting area and whatever, because I always, you know, if someone has like a hoarding situation or whatever, I want to make sure that, you know, we get social work in. I'm concerned about fire hazard and etc. And so she's leading me around the house and we get to a staircase and she goes, you can't go up there. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, no, you can't go up there because that's where my nephew lives and he keeps his things up there. And I'm like, all right. And I start to notice a very, very distinct odor. And I had asked her about it. I'm like, there's an odor. What is up there? She's, oh, I don't go up there. That's my nephew's part of the house. It was at that point where I was like, no. So obviously I consulted social work. I completed my job. I completed my visit. I did not take my eye off that doll again. And then I went to leave the house. I open the screen door, I'm saying my goodbyes, I'm thanking her for having me and telling her what I recommend that she do, and she grabs my wrist as I'm walking out the door. Doesn't say anything, just grabs my wrist. And I said, did you need something else? And she's just standing there, holding onto my wrist. And I said, okay, all right, goodbye. And I like pull myself away from her. And she's just staring at me. Never had to go back to that house again. Don't think I would.
And normally I would be like, obviously, it seems like a lot of these people don't get a lot of social interaction. Like she's saying, they live in the middle of nowhere. A lot of them don't have cell service, you know? They're maybe not seeing a doctor very regularly. Like they're experiencing these check-ins with her. And I think like maybe that's what I would normally say, but the fact that the woman just grabbed her wrist and looked at her, I feel like there's two ways it can go. Number one, was it like, oh my God, you saw what I saw, that doll just moved? Or number two, is she grabbing her wrist, like staring at her like you smelled the smell? Like you smell that there's something up there. Yeah, I would be really worried about this lady too. I wish we knew what ended up happening to her. This person in the comments said, as a social worker, girl, the M in my license doesn't stand for miracle. Don't call me. Okay, we have one more from Golden Rule 5.
And for this particular visit, I was seeing a patient in this area that I have never been in before, but there were like a whole little community of condos, which was actually very nice. It was a pretty nice area. The mountains were absolutely beautiful. I get to the patient's house, condo, I knock on the door, they come to let me in, and I notice immediately, there's like flies flying out of the home. They lead me into the main room, and there's no furniture. It's just like comforters kind of thrown on the floor. There's garbage on the floor, there's old newspapers on the floor is a little bit damp. I am here to meet them wherever they are. If they need me to sit on the floor and do the visit, that's where I'm going to be, and that's fine. So I have a seat on the floor. It is in fact damp, and I started asking the patient questions and seemed like a pretty normal person, except they responded to everything in like multiples. Like I'd say, what medications are you taking? And they would say, we take. And I'd say, who do you live with? We live alone. Now the fly situation, as I had mentioned, a bunch of flies came out of the home when the screen door was opened, and there were flies flying all around the room. And I don't mean a couple of flies. I mean there were flies everywhere, and they were flying around my face and my head. Now mind you, I usually have my hair and makeup done. I have some scented things on me. It's not like I'm surprised that these flies are flying around my head, but I am surprised about the fact that the flies are flying towards my eyes. Like, I mean, the flies are trying to get into my eyeballs. And that was a little alarming to me because I have a laptop in one hand, right? And then I'm trying to keep the flies off of my face with another. I'm trying to remain professional. I'm trying to not be bothered. And then a fly nails me in the eye, okay? And of course, instinct, I close my eye on it. So the fly is stuck up in my eye, under my eyelid.
That's like a horror movie. Ew, oh my God, I was gonna say it sounds like Saw. It sounds awful. That's my personal nightmare.
Oh my God, so I've got a fly in my eye. I'm trying to get it out with the tissue. I have no mirror. I'm sitting on the floor, basically on this wet floor, surrounded by garbage. I don't want the patient to feel like I'm judging them or I'm making them uncomfortable. So I remove the fly to the best of my ability. I complete the visit. I go to leave and I cancel my last visit of the day because I'm like, this is disgusting. I feel like I have flies in my hair. I've got a fly stuck in my eyeball. It hurts like heck. I go home, right? I make an appointment for the next morning to go see my eye doctor, which is in town. So I wake up the next morning, I'm getting ready to go to the eye doctor, and I'm walking down to my basement door that goes out into our pasture, and there's just flies covering the screen. And I'm like, what the hell is this? So I open the door and let him out, and I'm like, great, like there must be garbage or something. I'm looking around, there's no garbage bag left anywhere. I don't live in a filthy house. My house is pretty clean, right?
But she also lives in the country. Like she's from this area, so you're used to the sheer amount of bugs that there are. Like sometimes whenever people visit the area that I'm from, which is very close to this, I assume, they will be like, oh my God, why are there so many freaking bugs? And it's like, this is the East Coast, babe. Like there's gonna be bugs outside. And I'm pretty sure she's gotta be used to how many bugs they get every single year, like times of year or whatever. I think it's interesting. I hate that they're following her though.
I get to the eye doctor. The eye doctor says, yeah, you definitely scratched up your eye pretty good. You've got a little ulcer in there. Pulls a wing and like one of the fly's legs out from under my eyelid. Oh, it hurt. But like I've got fly remains stuck in my eyeballs. Like I am just like, I cannot believe this. My eye hurts so bad. He gives me antibiotic drops, gives me steroid drops. And then I have the day off, right? I took the day off. So I'm like, you know what? You know what sounds good? Let's go to Taco Bell. Get a Baja Blast and some tacos. You know, you can't go wrong with that.
You want to do something fun? You want to go to Taco Bell?
Because I'm not driving, I'm just sitting in the drive-thru. You know, my windows are open. It's a warm day. No air circulation. So I'm like, let me just go ahead, turn on my AC. Hit the AC, and guess what? Flies. Flies. 20, 30, maybe 40 flies into my car. It was then I realized, no, that's not a coincidence. What the hell is going on? I get home, I open the door, flies. What the hell? You've got to be kidding me. And then I'm sitting there thinking about the visit and how this person specifically said, we live here. We take these medicines. We need this. We have pain. And I'm like, oh, what did I bring home with me? I worked at a convent at one point in my life, and I would periodically work PRN at this convent, and I was very close with several of the priests and the nuns at the time. So I decided to seek advice from one of the priests, because over the last day or so, there were just flies everywhere. My house was overwhelmed with flies. I had flies in my car. I could not explain it, and I even sprayed. And the priest had basically said, you need to tell it to leave. You know, you have power over these things, the word of God, you need to tell it to leave. I'm like, you want me to tell it to leave? You come over and tell it to leave. Like, this is stressful to me, right? I don't want nothing to do with this. Like, when you mess with the paranormal and you talk about the paranormal messes with you. I'm trying to ignore it. You guys have watched my other videos. Ignoring it, that's what I do. And I said, as for me and my home, we serve the Lord, and you need to leave. I think this is effective after I tell it to go away, till I'm laying in bed that night. I'm sitting up there alone, my husband isn't in bed yet, and I see something laying on the ceiling, like a darker area at the corner of my bedroom. And it looks like a man, and it has one leg, and it's dragging itself across my ceiling, dragging its torso. And it turns its head around, and I can see its black hair fall over its face. And I'm sitting there absolutely paralyzed. Like, what in God's name is this? It dragged itself across the ceiling, dragged its torso across my ceiling with its 1.5 leg, dragged itself around the corner, looked at me the whole time, dragged itself into a large closet in the room, and I never saw it again. And I woke up the next morning, all the flies were dead. And I swept them up, and I threw them outside, and I blessed my house.
I was going to say it's so many points. Well, maybe it's this. Well, maybe it's that. But that dream, a man with one leg crawling across her ceiling, and like she said, she had the leg and the wing in her eyeball. That is so freaking eerie, dude. Ew. That is a disgusting story. I hope that this girl is like writing a book of all of this, though, because these are some of the craziest paranormal stories I've ever heard. Sleep paralysis. She was already stressed from the events of the day, and it manifested to that. That's a good point, Romy. It totally could have been influenced by that experience as well, like her brain manifesting something with one leg, knowing fully that there had been like a leg and a wing and stuff in her eyes. But the fly stuff is just crazy. And the fact that she woke up the next morning and all of them were just dead. I do quickly want to say though, like, she's right. When you acknowledge the paranormal, it acknowledges you back, which is why that story I was telling you guys earlier, I think so much happened yesterday. So here's what's going down. I brought a bear into my house that I bought while I was in Japan. It was not like purchased as a haunted bear. I walked up to it in a thrift store and I said, this thing has people eyes. I think it's haunted. Half jokingly. And then he started doing some really, really weird stuff. So I'm going to completely just start at the beginning with this bear. So I pick up this bear. He's in like a big, like a crate outside with a bunch of other teddy bears. And I immediately gravitate towards him. He's very cute. He's just wearing like a little vest and a tie and stuff. Came home with me and I didn't think anything of it. We take this bear from Japan to Korea. My friend Grace and I We were staying in Busan, actually, and we kept hearing weird sounds in our Airbnb, and it was really concerning because we weren't in like an apartment or anything. We were in a house, like a standalone house. She and I just kept hearing things. It would sound like somebody was walking around. It would literally sound like someone else was in the house, and nothing was ever there, obviously. So my friend Grace, when this starts happening, we start hearing what sounds like somebody moving around. She was like, maybe he needs to like sit somewhere. Maybe he doesn't like being on the floor, because he was kind of just like flat on the floor, like he had like tumbled over. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. So I put him in a chair, and he's in this little chair, and she and I are doing unboxings that I haven't posted yet. I think we were opening up our Lafufus on camera. And as we're doing it, I look over, and I swear to you on everything, this bear's head had moved. It does not move at all, but it's slightly to the side. And so maybe I hadn't noticed it before, but I'm telling you, I had angled the bear in a way so he was facing straight into the room, okay? Okay, whatever. You don't care. You do care, but you know, there's much juicier stuff here. Mostly brushing everything off, not taking anything too seriously. I get him home, I put him on the shelf with all my other haunted dolls. And he topples over one day, and my friend was like, I don't think he likes where he is. He like fell over. And I was like, you're probably right. He probably wants to be on his own. I'll figure out a place for him to go. But I didn't do anything about it. Fast forward again, my dryer door has been flying open before the cycle ends. And I've been so confused because the hinges are fine. I don't understand why it's happening on some loads and not on others. It's not like the dryer is like overfilled or anything like that. Again, the door is latching fine. The hinges are fine. I don't understand why this suddenly started happening. So the dryer has been swinging open on its own. Again, did not think that was paranormal. The dryer door keeps flying open again. I'm not really correlating anything. My friend goes to my bathroom. The light fully shuts off while she's in there. Bulb isn't dying, anything like that. It literally was like the switch flipped on and off, and it was very weird. She opened the door and she was like, your light just switched on and off. And I was like, what in the world? We're standing there in my house, and suddenly my house alarm starts going off. And it had kind of sounded like earlier that there had been somebody in my house. I was outside my backyard, and it sounded like someone was in my house, to the point where I came and looked to like check and like make sure I'm good. The dogs had also been barking at nothing. So we're in my home. My house alarm suddenly goes off, and I'm like, what? It so rarely happens. I go to the alarm to go turn it off, and it tells me the dining room window has opened. I go to check. The dining room window is closed. So I'm walking from the alarm that I just turned off into the rest of my house, and I hear somebody breathing in my ear. And I immediately like jumped the back and was like looking around, and obviously nothing was there. I swear to you, it sounded like something just breathed in my ear, and it scared the ever-living crap out of me. So finally, I'm like, screw this. I grab the bear, I get my Clorox wipes, and I go and I clean off a completely separate area of my shelves. I have like a little area where I keep like my crystals and stuff. I was like, you're gonna go stay with the crystals, okay? So I pick him up, I Clorox down the spot, I dry it off, whatever, I let it sit, I put him there, nothing has happened since. I think he's like a little old man. His bear's a little old man, so maybe I'm putting that personality onto him. I probably am, but like he just seems like a little like man. I think he just didn't want to be around a bunch of other haunted dolls. And I didn't even think about it like that, because I just have always kept them in the same place, and I have varying degrees of belief on if some of them are actually haunted or not. Because I've always like bought them hoping I would have like a crazy experience. Somebody had tagged me in one of these videos. I go and I look, and it's like tens of millions of views. But it's apparently gonna get very weird. So I kind of just, I saw the videos and I sort of just started pulling them. I pulled 5 for us to watch, and if we feel like we still need more context after that,
I realized the other day that
we can look.
I can't find this window from the inside of my house. You guys know I found a window on the outside of my house, but I can't find the window from the inside. Here's the window from the outside, but there's nothing on the other side but a wall. Should be on this wall. And here, we got this open, and there was nothing there but concrete. That led us to this junt out. You can see it comes out randomly, like what, 1 or 12 inches or something? So weirdly enough, this bureau was here when we moved in, and no one ever really thought much about it until now.
I really like the way that this guy says words. I'm really liking his pronunciation of things. Why not? Why not say concrete is concrete? Why not call a bureau a bureau? It could be 1 inches that the wall is built out. It could be 12. I don't know. He doesn't know. I like it. I feel safe with him.
I always wondered why it was nailed up against the wall and it was here when nothing else was in this basement. If you look from the back, you can kind of see, look, see how it's just black right there? It's open. It leads into that room. It's nailed up against the wall and none of the drawers open. I'm starting to think it might be a doorway into the room. Kind of reminds me of that old book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Bureau.
No, sweetheart. It's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But I see what you're doing here. I see what you're doing, and I'm along for the ride.
I realized the other day that I can't find this window from the inside of my house. I'm pretty sure I finally found it. Remember, we were looking on the other side of this wall to try to find the way in. The window should be right on the other side of this bureau. I got this oversized wedge and bend that I'm gonna pry it open. I can't figure out why you have a... Got it. It was glued. Pull all these drawers out. This one. What's back here? Looks like the... Wait. This part looks... Oh my... This is hollow. Oh my God! There's a room back there! I knew it this whole time! There's a room back there! I can't fit back there. What's back there? It's huge in there!
I really like his way of storytelling. Honestly, it's a very smart concept as well, because there have been so many people who pretty much since COVID have been doing renovations and stuff like that on their homes, and they found spaces that like they had never had access to before. Oh my God, ow. Haku just sank his claws into my leg. People finding hidden rooms or like whole other apartments and stuff like that has been such a trend. And sometimes I think it's just people like accidentally or purposefully cutting through a wall until they reach a neighboring unit. And then sometimes it's crazy stuff like an actual room in a home that's been boarded up. So this is a very interesting concept. I'm trusting him to take us for the journey. You know what I mean? I don't have much to say at this point.
My new house has this window on the outside that I can't find from the inside. Found out that I had a bureau that was a hidden entrance into my secret room. And today we're gonna cut into it. I ripped out the drawers and popped out the back. And you can see there's a room back there. As part is this buzzy cutter. Has a light.
See, I like him. He said buzzy cutter. This is a man that can be trusted.
Oh, out of the way.
He cut that bureau into pieces.
Climb. The room's the size of me, like one lay down versus one half of me lay down. Oh,
okay.
Look at it in here. There's like stuff in here.
I can't see.
Table. Like someone's been in here. This is crazy. What's that on the wall? It says SPR. That's the same, but there's still no light from the window. Why would they close this up? That means one of these walls must be Howl.
Oh, for the window, yeah.
Here. This is so cool. Can you guys see back there?
Did you guys hear the whispering? I think it said like go back.
So cool.
Oh, it's getting creepy. Yeah, I hope there's a flashlight in the next video. He's buzzy cutting up that bureau, y'all.
I found a window on the outside of my house that I can't find from the inside. If you've been along with me, we've been hunting for a secret window that you can only see from the outside. The window should be on the other side of this wall, which led us to this bureau. Sorry, bureau, like it matters. We cut through the back of it and it was a door into the secret room. Learned you can use your flashlight when you record, so we're... All right, we gotta crawl underneath.
This man is definitely playing a character. There's like no way in hell he's not playing a character for this. Come on, buddy. Come here.
Look at it in here.
Oh, we finally see it.
There's all kinds of stuff written. I mean, it's crazy. At the floor.
Oh, wait, what did that one say? The key is in plain sight, but plain is spelled incorrectly. It's like an airplane. Is this satire? I'm here. Okay.
There's gotta be a hatch under this junk or something.
Okay, I'm getting less sure about this one, y'all.
70 days ago, it dawned on me that I never found this window on the inside of the house. Let me show you guys the basement. I had a bureau that all the doors were glued shut so you couldn't get in. When I ripped it open, I was able to go in underneath and there was a room behind them. When I bought the house, I couldn't do an inspection because circumstances got on in with the light. As I explored the room deeper, I realized the room's bigger than I originally thought.
Oh, it's not 1.5 U's, it's bigger. It's 2 U's.
And there's a door.
Not a
and
door.
Look up top.
There's a light.
Bulb. It doesn't work.
Damn it.
Look behind it. This is crazy. Hello?
Oh, he knocked.
I mean, there's just a...
Okay, I heard the whispering.
What the frickin' frack? The window must be behind this door. I gotta get out of here.
I'm like in tears. Okay, wait, it's getting really funny. I have to see what's behind the door. I've been clickbaited. I can't. I have to know.
There's been a lot of questions and speculation about what's going on, and I wanted to take a little bit of time and answer some of the most common. First, everyone keeps asking me, why don't you just go through the window? I recently found out that the window is made out of glass. Looked through the window and there's a curtain, and you can't see in there or anything, but it's locked, and I have no way to be of the unlocker. Second is just kick through the door. I can't kick through the door because it will break it. Third question is, people ask, when I moved into the house, why didn't I check the bureau to see what it was? And who would even do that? Just sitting there like a dead dill, so I just ignored it. Finally, a lot of people keep saying they're hearing voices. I watched all of the videos back a lot of times, and the voices are definitely in your head. By the way, when I bought this house, it was on a huge discount for undisclosed reasons. Not so disclosed now, is it now yet?
You guys, it was on sale for an undisclosed reason.
You've been following along. Last time in the secret room, we found a door that we couldn't get into. Entrance
a door. Not a door, a door.
Bureau.
From the bureau. A
People
door.
tell me this looks like a Santa symbol. I guess it looks a little like a Christmas tree.
A Santa.
Credit card to open up the door.
Smart man. Genius. This man is so smart.
I got it in.
Yeah, you did. Good job. You didn't at all open the handle.
What the heck? It's a shelf. This is crazy.
A shelf?
The back's all cord barred. It's actually pretty... Oh, I see a curtain.
He found the window made of glass.
The whole back comes off. It's the curtain. It's the window. I got it. Oh my God, it's the... I don't have a little house in my backyard.
Oh my God. Ew. That kind of scared me. That sort of caught me off guard. Guys, did you know that windows are made of glass?
Someone mentioned that in an older video, you were able to see some sort of figure through the outside.
Oh.
You first have to crawl to the bottom.
I didn't notice that.
Yo!
This bureau is going to kill him one of these days.
Through but the side. And then through this door. shelf here. Which we got through.
Is the house gonna be there?
Oh, there they are. What the frog? Should I touch them?
What?
What are they?
They're like precious moments
It's a
things.
human. I'm so creeped out by these.
You'll die?
They're like those haunted Goo Goo dolls. They have a strange energy.
This is like life of luxury levels of peak comedy. I'm losing my mind. Can you imagine if suddenly this got genuinely very scary?
It's been the craziest week of my life. A few days ago, we found a fake bureau that
Yeah,
had
I
fake
get it, babe.
drawers that we were
I get
able
it.
to pull out and
I hear ya.
crawl through into a secret room. Before that, on my fuse panel, I saw an unused switch marked SPR. And in the secret room on the wall were the same letters, SPR. I'm gonna crawl into the room and show you guys.
Again.
Down to the bottom shelf, SPR.
Okay.
It says it.
It does say it.
God, it's so creepy in here.
Is there more? The
I'm gonna show you guys on my electrical panel where it's gonna be.
Electrical.
All right,
Okay.
take a look. All of them are turned on except for the one. And look, SRP. Turn it on and see what happens. Freaked out, but we're gonna go back into the room to see if anything's changed. It's been the craziest week of my life. A few days ago, we found a fake bureau that had fake drawers that we were able to pull out and crawl through into a secret room.
Run.
As a quick recap, we found in the secret room there was a sign that said SPR, and there was a corresponding channel on the light switch that we just flipped. So now we're gonna go back into the secret room to see what it was. The window's behind this wall where the junt out is, and we're gonna head back in underneath. Just remove this.
Oh, I thought it got boarded back up. Oh my god. I hate that. Did it? No way!
What happened? There was a hole here. It's solid. Am I going crazy, or was there a way into the room through here? I'm losing my brain.
Okay, so this says it's weird. I've lived here for over a year, but the second I found this room, it felt like it had been waiting for me, not in a scary way, in a sad way, like someone left a memory behind they couldn't carry anymore.
My new house has a secret room that I just found. Found out my new house had a secret room that could only be accessed through the drawers of a bureau.
But
There's all kinds of crazy messages written on the wall. But the crazy thing about it is, ever since I got into this room, I've been hearing noises late at night when I'm asleep. I don't know how to describe it, whether it's voices or just rustling, or there's just knocking and howling. I put some lights in here to try to calm things down and calm the energy. New house has a window I can't find from the inside. And I finally found a secret passage through a bureau, through the wall, and then I found the room. But I also found this switch labeled SPR that when I flipped it on, closed some sort of trap door into the secret room.
Oh.
We're gonna shut it back off to see if it changes anything.
maybe he uploaded them out of order.
Really regretting buying this house with how many crazy things have been happening. Found another secret door or hollow wall underneath the backdrop of my desk. All right, let's go back in to the secret room.
This isn't even the
Turn
same.
the light and let's take a look. Oh my gosh, it's open again. Whoa, this is different in here. What the?
You made a mistake. Oh, I thought he was losing me there for a second. He reeled me right back on in. Oh, he's been doing this for a while. Oh, got it. So this wasn't the first round of these. All right, let's watch this last one.
Everything going on and people telling me my house is haunted, I'm thinking about calling a priest and having a full circumcision done. I really wasn't scared until I noticed this on the mirror. Oh, take a look through here. It's crazy that they even put a room behind a bureau. First the spur code, then the mirror, and look at what else I found. The key is in plain sight. What in God's green could that even mean? All right, you guys remember we found behind this shelf?
The window
Was
in a
the
secret
window.
house.
And that's the little house that we're gonna explore today. I'll be honest, that's some serious, scary type shucks. But we're gonna go see if we can't break through the window. It makes the most sense to go at nightfall. So I'm gonna wake up. The situations remind me that I'm not afraid of most type things, but some things are types of afraids.
Wow. So the comment that I was tagged in earlier today said, Loey, like, hey, good ARG, you gotta hop on this. And the guy had liked it. So I immediately went into this knowing it wasn't real. Man, TikTok wouldn't know a good ARG if it smacked them in the face. If TikTok got Ash vlogs today, oh, the police would be called. Someone would be swatted. Nobody understands ARGs anymore. This is very funny though. This is like Ghost Adventures levels of comedy. I genuinely enjoyed that experience so much. For a second there, he was kind of losing me because it was so repetitive, but I got right back. This is absolutely hilarious. I was expecting some bad acting, not purposefully bad acting. I was expecting some bad acting and a creepy little story. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. I honestly don't have much to say except that I will be keeping up with this and it's absolutely hilarious. And I'm so thankful. This is why I like filming this type of video live, or why I've wanted to rather, because this is so much more fun with you guys. There are words in my brain that will forever be changed. I'm never going to read bureau correctly for the rest of my life. It will always be bureau. Ethel the Ghost. You know her. You love her. You guys have been tagging me in this guy's videos for months now, and I have not talked about Ethel. Mostly because to me, it's so obviously not real. And I think that, like, if you have me saying that going into it, it's very obviously not real. Because I believe a lot. It's not that I don't think it's fun. Like, I'm not against people, like, pulling a ghost hoax. I'm not against an ARG. I'm not against the type of series. Whatever they're doing for this is very effective as well. Because, like, as you'll see, there's like some crazy stuff that happens in this video because of Ethel the Ghost. But I'm sure you all know about Ethel the Ghost. This is one of those viral paranormal things that's come out of TikTok in the last year, but I haven't touched it. So I thought I would finally talk about it.
Ethel, I know we have beef, but I seriously need your help right now. Please. Oh my God. Are you willing to help me? I am one squat away from a shark. I swear. I'm just a little bit. My little arms can't freaking reach. Okay, yes.
See?
Yes.
She like pulls it out.
I'll put on Love Island for you. I will do whatever you want. Just a little bit for me. This is really creepy, and I don't like looking. Yes. All right, any day now, I'm gonna shark! Okay, I'm sorry. You're the baddest bombshell ghost banshee to walk these walls. Yes.
She's like, okay, fine, I guess.
A little more. Okay. All right, let go. I don't want to touch you. You gross me out a little bit. Are you away from the string? Yes. I am going to. You get to watch every season of Love Island. Thank you.
Here's the thing for me. The ghost is a girl's
We're not
girl.
going to Vegas.
Okay. You either Matilda or you have a little weird thing going on.
You either Matilda.
Honey, stop.
How is that not funny? It's like you don't trust me. I don't understand. I've never given you a reason to.
Is that your wedding ring? That you're not wearing?
Ready? Picture this. A girlies weekend. You and the ghosts get to watch all the episodes of Housewives of Mormon Lives or whatever the hell.
You know what? Hell
And
yeah.
Ethel, I know you were alive during the Prohibition, all right? But you would have eaten up bottle service in Vegas. The clubs, she would have loved it.
Is that like ripping one in the background? What was that noise?
Okay, you're bringing her with you then.
No, we're not doing that again. No, because you remember what happened last time? Toby got all freaked out when we went to Bahamas, and he put the deposit on the Vegas hotel.
Oh! So it's already paid for. You weren't asking. Ethel's telling on you, ratting on you. Well, I hope you booked her a ticket.
No.
Yes, right next to you. Show us the window seat.
No.
And you're gonna go, she's gonna go to the day club, the nightclub, bottle service. She's gonna do it all with you.
Hell yeah.
I'm not bringing her.
I'm breaking out the Ouija board.
Hell yeah.
Tell me all about it.
And she's gonna say I was an angel, alright?
But TLDR, I find these videos very funny. I often watch them. The only reason I haven't talked about them in a scary side of TikTok is because I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of like paranormal stories that I tell that I know are fake. Or that I know are stories. That's more what I mean, is that there's a storyline behind it, whatever. These are just security camera videos, which I do love, but they're these like kind of disconnected events with this ghost that I know is not real. I do find them very interesting. I think the videos are good. I think it's also obvious that like they do certainly take some work, whether they're doing that with strings or whatever. And I think that it's creative, and I think that Ethel being a girl's girl ghost is very fun. All right, so then this one is not necessarily funny, but it's not super dark. I've been tagged in this poster's account. Her name is Cassie Wetzel 3, and she posted one video of this doll.
Go into the bathroom, and there's Philip giving me side eye.
Philip.
What up, Philip? Just go into the bathroom, baby.
Girl, why is he looking at us?
Me. Sometimes you just look a little scary.
He's haunted supposedly, but not with me. Story goes that as he was being made, his eyes came to life during a lightning strike by a graveyard, as the lady who made it says. She was waiting for her friend who was visiting a grave. Bought it on eBay for $80. He's made of stuffed paper mache. I always thought he was cute, but my kids hated him. Okay, so he was bought as a haunted doll.
Hi, Folsom and everybody else. Philip's not moving. It just seems like he is. Because his eyes follow you. Good morning, Philip.
His eyes do follow you. I'm a little concerned that Cassie bought Philip as a haunted doll.
So, I'm out of the shower. Get ready to comb out my hair. Still have a towel on my head. There I am.
Hi, Diva.
And can't help but see Philip staring at me. As usual. He's not that frightening. He looks pretty normal this way, but when you look at him from the side, it's like his eye is following me.
That's literally how Morty looks at me when I'm like 5 minutes late on his dinner. This is Morty degrees of like side eye. I wish he was over here so I could compare them. I actually think they have a couple of things in common.
Hey, baby.
I swear to God, I just saw his eyes move.
But it's not. I think.
I swear to you, his eyes just moved a tiny bit. Am I crazy, or did they move a little bit, or was it just the camera moving really fast? That is nuts. That thing is haunted. Are you joking me? I can't tell if his eyes actually moved in that video or not. The chat is saying that yes, he moved his eyes. I'm not being crazy. It literally looks like they moved a little. That is the most haunted doll of all time. You know when people comment on TikTok videos and they're like, I claim no negative energy. I claim no Philip. No Philip whatsoever. I claim from this video. I want to preface, I think it would be better to do the darker one first. This is real. This is not paranormal. The rest of these have been, you know, paranormal mostly, or at least perceived that way. There is a situation going on TikTok that has gone obscenely viral from this poster, Married to a Lunatic.
This furniture store just got the weirdest, if not scariest request any of them have ever heard. So a salesman was working when this guy came in and asked for a triple bunk bed, where instead of 2, it's 3 beds all together. Talking to the guy, and he's like, I don't want twin size mattresses. I need like full size mattresses because I need to have like at least 3 kids fit on per mattress. And he was like, okay, that's something we would have to like order. For something like this, instead of twin size mattresses, he needed full mattresses. So enough to where 3 kids in each level. So 9 kids could sleep in this bed setup. Thinking, okay, this is a lot of kids. All right, and this is like a man old enough to be like a grandfather. He's like, okay, we can ship it if you need it. He's like, okay, good, because I need to order 4 of those beds and 12 mattresses. He was already getting a weird feeling from this guy. This made it even creepier, and he was like, okay, he got this man's information and took the order down. So they got his name and address. So then these people at this furniture store become top tier detectives, and they start researching this guy because they're like, that is the weirdest request to order that many. And it's not for like an Airbnb or like a camp. It's for this man's personal address. Lo and behold, he is an offender. He's a registered level 2, which I think is moderate risk offender. His victims that he's been caught with previously were teenagers. So then they look up his address, and it gets even weirder. There are bars against the windows, literally bars stopping you from being able to get to the front door. So if you get out of the front door, you're still stuck because there's bars stopping you from leaving out of the front door. The back of the house is honestly the creepiest. Back of the residence is not only fenced in, but has an extra several feet of covering so that you cannot peek over and like easily look into the backyard.
I would normally be like, you know, bars maybe are like for safety if you're in a big city. Like I've certainly seen bars on windows before. It's not that uncommon. But in this guy's case, I mean, I'm just so glad that these furniture salesmen people, I think it was one guy in particular who sort of followed his gut. I'm just so thankful he did instead of kind of ignoring that. So often I think we'll ignore our instincts. Maybe not on stuff like this, but I think this is a good example of like, if you think something is wrong, it's better to be wrong and to know that you were wrong as opposed to just going along with it. So I don't know what happens from here.
And like easily look into the backyard. And then whenever you zoom in, I don't know if this is super clear, but you can literally see the back of the house has the same bars completely blocking you from the back door. So like people can't get in, but people trying to get out are also locked in with another layer of bars straight across, just like the front of the house. Everyone at this furniture store is now terrified, so one of the salesmen drives to the house and sees not only are there bars everywhere, the back of the yard does in fact have that extra protection of like, so you can't see into the backyard. It is fenced, and there's surveillance cameras everywhere that wasn't present in the Google image of the residence. This man is ordering 4 of the triple-decker beds, 12 mattresses that can fit up to 36 children. So the employees at this furniture store are basically doing God's work at this point because they have now contacted the police about this man, all of the beds, his specific questions of asking how many kids could fit on each mattress, and ordering multiples of these while wanting it all delivered to a house that looks like it's a prison. So the question is, what does he need this for? Furniture store employee who is giving us like all of these horrific details and updating us is on TikTok, so I will tag his handle below.
This is crazy.
If you're not following the furniture store dude, you need to, because things are about to get really insane. I'm talking about the same furniture store guy who just got a predator taken off the streets. This man, being a hero without a cape, goes to this guy's house. The guy wanting 12 mattresses to fit 36 children, his house is completely barred off, or even if you're able to make it out of the house.
Okay, it seems like this is a lot of the same information. I'm gonna keep watching just in case there's some sort of update. She may have just been saying like, hey, this guy was like the original poster, like maybe after her video blew up.
What he has even found since then is that this man on the offenders list is living with someone else in the house who is on the same list. You need to follow him. He is about to give us the most crazy story about what he uncovered.
He was living with another offender. Oh my God, what a freak. What a creep. And he wanted all of those bunk beds. This is literally one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard in my entire life. Thank God this guy trusted his instincts there.
Something wasn't right with this person, and then doing the bare minimum of checking into this person. Called the authorities have arrested him, and the stuff that is coming out now is absolutely insane. Mark my words, this is going to make headlines. This furniture store employee should be getting an award.
Okay, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I wish Hannah had been here for this part, but apparently Hannah talked about this in the video recently, in her most recent video, and she apparently said he's totally allowed to live with other registered offenders. That is insane. I would assume that that's illegal, that y'all are not allowed to like link up for the good of the world. Okay, so this was an update a little bit later in the month.
This update just became a lot scarier than I thought I would be giving you guys today. I posted this video yesterday warning basically all of Texas, but specifically Fort Worth, Texas, about this man, Emery Garner, who walked into a furniture store in Fort Worth and asked to get prices for triple bunk beds for bringing these children. So many questions arose. The man who posted this, I was telling everyone to follow because he was giving updates. People don't realize I was also talking to this person one-on-one, hearing the crazy stuff he's found out about this man. And maybe my mistake was being naive. So I watched this and I'm legitimately in fear for children's lives. Come to find out, it's not just Emery, the one offender. There's also a second offender who lives there. Has a criminal record with over 30 charges on it. That video blows up, and rightfully so, because what I was picturing could be like worst case scenario, everyone else is picturing too, because there's nothing about this that doesn't seem completely creepy. What started happening last night is even creepier. First, good news. The man, Emery, wanting beds to house over 30 kids, has been arrested, is what we've been told by authorities. Not me. The man who is sharing all of this, the man who investigated this man, the man who called police, the man who went to the house to see if things looked off. We found out that 2 offenders are at this house. One is arrested. We don't know on what the charges are. More stuff starts to come out about both of these men. And last night, within a 30-minute window, I am inundated with all kinds of messages about people trying to get me to take this video down. Starting with this one, I'm only going to show this, guys, because I really feel like this guy just might be an idiot. But again, I could be naive, but he's telling me that the bunk bed video is fake, and since you just want to get famous, I bet you're not going to remove the video. To which I'm like, wait, really? Because videos from the neighbors who have been complaining about this man and this house, seeing children coming in and out, knowing that at least one person living there is an offender, they have called the authorities, but no one has ever been arrested over it. Like, wait, am I making up that video? No, this is the video from the neighbor in the neighborhood with the house that has like all the bars on the front and the back, and if you are able to get out the doors, you then are still completely trapped because there's bars all the way up to the top of the house. This is the man. This is Emery. He shows up to his neighbor's house, middle of the night. His pants are undone. He is holding them, and then is like having like the weirdest conversation with this person, wanting them to come to the door. And she's like, no, we've ran this man off. We've told him we know what he's been found guilty of. We want him nowhere near our property. But then more people start messaging me. Once I start like asking this guy questions to see if he can back up the fact that he's saying the entire thing is fake and that I'm a terrible person if I don't take the video down, he just stops responding. I'm hit with things like I'm ruining Emery's life. Pretty sure Emery ruined his own life and whatever children he's come in contact with.
And there are people who would rather defend the offender, the predator, the terrible human being who's done terrible shit. And you'd rather do that than be like, hey, what?
Then I get hit with this message, which really almost worked because I was very confused at first. All 3 of the girls in your video are my nieces. Their innocent faces don't need to be associated with this man. Oh crap. Did I mess up? Because I realized that this person is talking about the triple bunk bed image I just used as a reference because I had never heard of a triple bunk bed before, so I figured other people hadn't either. The faces though, you can't see them clearly. I even zoomed in as far as I could. The only people who are gonna know who these children are the people who not only know these children, but know these children modeled for this triple bunk bed photo shoot. On the bottom probably has the most visible face, but my body is completely blocking it. You guys tell me, did I completely mess up? But then I got another message basically saying, I have the wrong person. Again, I think it had something to do with like ruining a life, but that I better take the video down now. So from now on, this is what I'm going to show what the triple bunk bed looks like. He didn't want twin, he wanted full-size mattresses so 3 kids could lay on each one. And we know this story is real because David, the furniture store hero who literally got an offender off the streets who was trying to find beds to house children in his home, shared the footage from the furniture store, including detectives coming in after he contacted them with what he had found out. The harassment to me is just confirmation that everything we are worried about, especially with news that the neighbors have seen kids being brought into this house. So there's definitely other adults who are complicit in what is happening here, which is even more terrifying.
That is terrifying. I think that whoever said that about the nieces was definitely a troll as well. That's just crazy. Why are there so many people defending this? This is just so deeply disturbing. There is another update, but I think it's more of her talking about messages that she got. It basically was the same guy that we just saw the message from, and he was saying that she was defaming somebody. You know, people will just defend the most horrendous things imaginable with their whole chest, and it is just like one of the most disturbing things in the world to me. That had gone really viral. I knew it was a real story. I knew it was going to be dark, but holy hell. If you have a feeling, you have to trust your gut, dude. I don't think that we're usually wrong. Especially us ladies, I will be honest with you, but for guys too, for anybody, for any human being, I think you just have to trust your instincts, because like we can like tell when something is off. And if he hadn't said anything, those two men in that house would have had access to beds that would have held 36 kids. So we're going to finish off the night with some good old-fashioned AshleeinC. I just did a scary TikTok stories video and didn't include a single AshleeinC video. It was very strange for me. I haven't known what my girl Ashley has been up to. So there's 2 videos about the faceless people of California.
We all heard about the faceless people in California because since starting Spooky Scary Storytime, I've gotten a ton of email submissions about this subject, and it creeps me out so bad because I have no idea what's going on. But every time I read one of these emails, it says almost the exact same thing, and it's all almost the same area, which is like Southern California. I would love to hear your theories. I'm going to tell you one of these stories. This came from a woman named Sharon. That's a fake name. She said she's from a small town called Barstow between Las Vegas and Los Angeles in the Mojave Desert. And she said in this town, there's a bridge called the First Street Bridge. It's recently been replaced by a more structurally sound one, but when this story takes place, the bridge hadn't been replaced yet, so it's the older one. On one side of this bridge, on the riverside, there's a supposedly haunted building known as the Harvey House. I'm not sure about this. If anyone knows, I'm not sure if this is related to this story, but she thought it was important enough to point it out. She said the bridge is shaped like an S, and her parents lived on one side of it, and then city limits were on the other side, so she had to cross the bridge in order to get anywhere important. This story happened like 10 years ago. So she was 21 at the time, and she was living with her parents. And one night at 2 a.m, she decided she wanted to go to McDonald's. So she drives across the bridge. She gets her food. She's on the way back, dead center of the bridge, when she sees this man. And he's walking in the same direction that she's driving. And he catches her eye because he's wearing all red, like red beanie, red hoodie, red pants, red shoes. As her car approaches him from behind, he just stops walking, and he's staring straight ahead of himself. She said she couldn't really get a good look at him because the bridge was only lit in certain parts, but she just got an extremely bad feeling as she passed him. So she kept driving. She just had this like pit in her gut. She had the feeling that if she didn't stop, he was going to jump off the bridge or do something terrible or attack her from behind. But she said she had no idea why she had this feeling. So she drives a little further, and then she decides she's going to turn around and go check this guy out. As she's turning around, she realizes he stopped walking again. It was the same thing. He just stopped and he was staring dead ahead, but again, she can't really see him. So she finally turns around. She's coming back the other way, and as she's passing him, he just stops dead in his tracks and he looks at her. He turns to face her as she's creeping by slowly, and she said she was never so scared in her life because he had no face. She said, Ashley, I swear I've never felt fear the way that I felt when he looked at me. So she speeds by him. She has to turn around again, though, obviously, to go home. She had to go all the way back to the other side of the bridge, and she turns around, she's coming back, and she slows down again because she's like, I just want to make sure I saw what I saw. She slows down to get another look at him, and he turns and slowly faces her again, and she said he had no face. It was the same as before.
That is so scary, because you guys know most of the time whenever we watch horror videos where there's somebody in the middle of the road, I'm always like, hey, I'm pretty sure that's a real person. It looks like a real person. It reacts like a real person. She circles multiple times. That's also so scary. She's so brave. I would not have done that. The first time that I went back around and I was like, this man has no face. That would be that for me. Personally, but I guess other people are built different.
When she realized she wasn't seeing things, she hits the gas and she speeds all the way home. She said, to this day, I have no idea what I witnessed. I swear I'm not making this up. I know what I saw. And I think the creepiest thing about this is the other stories I've gotten about the faceless people in California are very similar, not about the outfit, about him wearing all red, but about the way that he stops and slowly looks. Other people have described it as like his face rendering. Like when you're playing a video game and you scroll across a character and their face takes a second to register, like that.
Okay, so she immediately posts a follow-up. Well, not immediately. But it is immediate for us because she posts another spooky, scary story time about the faceless people of California.
You want more lore about the faceless people in California, so let's do another story. This comes from Moreno Valley, which is about an hour and 40 minutes southwest of where the first story took place in Barstow. This story was sent by a person named Eli, who says back in 2010, he saw a faceless woman walking down the road toward his car at about 3 a.m. He was driving down a dark, long stretch of road when he saw a figure walking toward him in the middle of the road, so he stopped his car and he put the flashers on because his figure wasn't moving, and when she got closer, he realized she was wearing a blue denim jacket, a red hoodie, and blue jeans, and she had no face. Now, one thing I want to point out is everyone was asking, like, what do you mean no face? All of these descriptions in these stories that I've gotten about faceless people describe them the same way, which is, it's not that they have no face in the sense that there's like nothing or like a vortex or just empty space. It's glossed over skin where their features should be. Of course, Eli thinks he's seeing things, so as she gets closer, she stops, she puts her hands in her pockets, and she's just staring, or what should be staring, straight ahead toward his car. He hit the gas, he sped around her, and as he passed her, he looked closer to make sure he wasn't just seeing things, but sure enough, she didn't have a face. He said the best way I can describe it is just very pale skin with a soft yellow-white glow. He said hearing the first story opened up a lot of memories for him, and he wanted to share his story because he thinks that the Air Force Base is involved. He's heard stories about it being haunted. Obviously not from the area, but if you know anything about this, let me know. And I'm actually considering making a map because, like I said in the first video, there have been so many stories that I've gotten about faceless people, and they're almost all in the same area, although this morning I did receive one from Northern California and another from Canada. But the sightings do seem concentrated to Central and Southern California, so let me know what you think of this. If you think you've seen faceless people, or if you know anything about them, let me know what you think, and at the very least, send me the location of where you think you saw them. I think I'm going to make a map.
My boyfriend and I saw a faceless man in Moreno Valley off of Sunnymead Boulevard. I gasped and said very loudly, "Oh my God, what's wrong with his face?" The guy turns to look at us, and I was embarrassed because I thought I might have hurt his feelings and drove away. I've seen one at 2 to 3 in the morning. My friend told me not to look at it. It had only skin, no eyes, no nose, no mouth, nothing but skin. Phoenix, Arizona in 2018. From that area, and there's a ton of bad car accidents that happen, many fatal. This happened to me in Moreno Valley as well. Around 3 a.m. I was coming back from Utah. I was so curious about the faceless people of California. I've never seen one. Hope I never do.
Since the Mermaids at Area 51 video did so well and you guys love government conspiracies, let's do another story related to government cover-ups. This story came from someone named Kate, and she says that last summer her neighbor in Idaho was taken by men in black, and he came back, but he came back different. Kate says she lives in Wallace, Idaho, which she described as a small town tucked in the mountains. It's the kind of place where everybody knows everybody. There's not a whole lot going on. 3 years ago, Kate moves into a new house in Wallace, and she immediately meets the neighbor, Mark, because he's always outside and he's working on his truck. He's a retired miner. He lives alone. He doesn't speak a lot, but he's pleasant enough. Anytime she goes out to get the mail, he waves at her, for instance. She doesn't know a whole lot about him. He's friendly enough, but sometimes she does notice that he just stares off in the distance, but she's just like, okay, like he's just reminiscing on his life. One day she has some friends over. Her husband and their friends are all out back drinking. They come around on the driveway, and Mark's outside working on his truck, so they're like, hey, do you want a drink? He takes one from them, and then they start talking, and the only thing she knows about him to bring him in the conversation is that he was an old miner. So she's like, can you tell us any stories about the mine? And all he says is that there's things in the mines that they don't want you to know about. And everyone's immediately intrigued, and they're like, what kind of things? And he's like, things more valuable than gold, things they shouldn't dig up, but nobody listens. And they're like, what things? And he's like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. After that, he says, thanks for the drink, I'm gonna go inside. Because the only other thing that sticks out in her mind as strange is the fact that Mark kept a notebook filled with odd sketches and mathematical equations, and they didn't realize this at first. But her husband comes in one day, I guess they shared a driveway, and he was outside. He finds this notebook, and it's open in the middle of the driveway, and he thinks it fell out of Mark's truck or he left it out there by accident. So he picks it up, he starts flipping through it, and nothing in it makes sense to him. As he's looking at it, Mark comes out of his garage and he runs over and he's like, that's mine. And the husband's like, oh, what is this? He's thinking maybe it's related to the truck or something. And Mark's just like, those are maps. If they come looking for me, don't let them get me. I guess he says it in a way to her husband that could be interpreted as like kind of funny or kind of sarcastic, but he doesn't know how to take it. He's just like, okay, man, here's your notebook back. A couple months later, in the middle of the night in August, she said they were woken up in their bedroom window by like bright lights. And so they go to the window to see what's going on. And there's 7 unmarked black SUVs parked outside of Mark's house. She said immediately she knew these were government vehicles. Like that's just how they look. And she said their headlights did not reflect the way that normal headlights do. I'm not exactly sure what she means by that, but she also said they were completely silent. So her and her husband are at the window and they're kind of watching, being nosy. And her husband's like, oh, I think he's getting raided. And then they see all these men come out in black suits with Mark, and he gets in the back of one of these SUVs and they drive off. He did say he wasn't restrained or in handcuffs or anything like that. He seemed to go willingly. After 3 days, she gets home from work and she sees that Mark is outside as usual working on his truck, like he's back.
Can you imagine your neighbor when you're talking to them just randomly saying, hey, these are maps. If they get me, don't let him have them.
She kind of wants to know what's going on. So she goes up to him. She's like, hey, Mark, are you okay? And she said his eyes were off. Like they did not blink completely. He seemed to stare too long at her and he was like, yeah, I'm good. After that, she said he stopped working on his truck. She never saw him outside anymore. She said she noticed he stopped drinking coffee on his porch, which he had done every single day that she had lived there. And then whenever she saw him in the street, he didn't wave at her anymore. He just kind of stared right through her.
Oh, no.
One day she notices all these packages are just piling up on his porch. Like he hasn't been outside. She gets a little bit concerned. So she goes over there and she knocks on the door, just wanting to make sure he's okay, right? Because he lives alone. He answers the door. She says, Mark, you have all these packages. Like, I just wanted to come over and make sure you're okay. And he just stares at her for what seemed like a long time. And he says, I'm fine. And she says, well, I noticed like you've been different since, you know, I saw you leave and then you came back. Like, is everything okay? What happened? And he said, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. 2 nights later, they wake up in the middle of the night to the same bright lights lighting up their room. So they go to the window and the same black SUVs are back. This time they can see the men in black standing on the porch. After they knock, Mark lets them in, and after a few minutes, they all come out. Mark gets in the back of one of the SUVs and they drive off again. Craziest thing is, she said that they have not seen him since. His house is still there. It's not for sale. There doesn't seem to be any signs of life. No lights on. His truck is still parked in the driveway. So she starts talking to neighbors about it, obviously. And there's this other lady that's kind of a know-it-all that lives on the street, and she asks her, and she's like, you know, it's the weirdest thing. I thought I saw him at the grocery store, so I tapped him and I was like, hey, Mark, and he just stared at me like he had no idea who I was. This lady tells her that this man says, I'm not Mark. This lady's like, I know everyone in town. Like, why would he lie to me? Like, I know it was him, but for some reason he didn't want to be recognized.
Like, could this guy have been taken by law enforcement maybe for something else? But then to pretend you're not yourself, is this like a mental health thing? No. This is so weird.
There's some rumor in her town, so if you're from there, I would love to know if you've heard about him. She says some people in the town say that he wasn't just a retired miner, that he collected old artifacts. Other people claim to have seen him at the old Crescent mine at night carrying a metal box with blinking lights. Other people say that he was part of some secret government project. Kate ended her email by saying, I don't really know what to make of this. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but this seems too weird to ignore, and we're all just kind of holding our breath waiting for whatever comes next.
Yeah, chat was mentioning Until Dawn. It totally is giving like Until Dawn with the mines, right? That was the title, is Men in Black took him and he came back different. But yeah, he said like, you wouldn't even believe me. So like, what was he talking about? Someone in chat said witness protection program, but like, obviously it wouldn't be that, because like, he's coming back to where he lived. Like, people would know him. That is so weird. What is the explanation for that? Or what is an explanation for that? Aside from being involved in some sort of crime or something like that? I don't know. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A special thank you to my subscribers who are members of the channel. If you want to join the channel memberships and get extra members exclusive perks like members only videos, polls help me decide on future video topics, and so much more, you can click that little join button somewhere around the screen. We would love to have you. And extra special thank you to my VIP loves for their continued and generous support of the channel. I love and appreciate you all very, very much. I love you all very much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.